What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to show you the 6 core steps to building high converting landing pages. If you don't know me, my name is Polis. I run a conversion rate optimization agency called Conversion Spartan. We've helped over 100 Shopify Plus brands increase conversions and add extra recurring revenue without increasing ad spend or making new creatives. So these are some examples and client wins we've had recently. So we've added over $99,000 in new monthly recurring revenue, over 129. We added almost 40,000 and 31K, all without any extra ad spend, through optimizing their funnels, through making new landing pages or optimizing your current theme. So let's get into it. The first step of the funnel is always research. You got to do your homework. Without research, none of these steps are going to work. And here's the foundation of research. So first, there's data mining. So you got to understand who your target audience is. What are their needs? First and foremost, you do this by, we utilize 3 methods. There's AI tools, there's niche communities like Reddit, customer feedback, and it all ties into defining your ICP, which is your ideal customer profile. This basically, your entire funnel is built around talking to your ideal customer. So for competitor analysis, you got to understand what are your competitors doing and what your own brand can do better. So you can go on to their website, see how their product pages look like, how does the homepage look like, see what kind of landing pages they have, go through their meta ads library, see where they're driving traffic to, what kind of angles they're using, and see what you can improve upon. Then there's psychological profiling, but where you're going to want to figure out what is the core objection preventing the purchase. So see what kind of objections your customers are having. This could be about your own brand. This could be overall where the market is, the market trends, and see what the primary emotional drivers for this specific niche are. You got to understand who you're selling to and what makes them tick. So basically what I would do is I would take the first 2, data mining and competitor analysis, and feed it into an AI tool like Gemini. I like to use the deep research function. I have a video about research that you can check out on my channel. And basically it's going to figure out and will help you figure out who your ideal customers are and what kind of pain points and what kind of needs they're facing, because you need to know this before you can move on to step 2, which is copywriting, and in particular, direct response copy. So to write direct response copy, you got to first target the pain points. You got to figure out what is the bleeding neck problem the customer is facing. What unique mechanisms or proof points establish trust for them. This is because the entire copywriting funnel is going to be built around the fact that your product is what they're looking for, that this is the solution to their pains, to their problems, to their desires. And you do that through authority building. So you got to be able to articulate their struggles better than your own customers can. This is where the research step is so crucial for this, because you got to know and understand everything about who your ideal customers are, and the average buyer's needs and pain points and desires, and then provide the kind of solution and frame everything around the fact that your brand is the only logical solution to their problems. And step 3 is user experience, and I just call this basically scannability. This is something that's been recently. You got to take this into consideration. The fact that people they don't like reading huge blocks of text, they don't like spending time reading at all, and they bounce off of your page very quickly. So you got to make your copywriting as easy to consume as possible. And you can use bulleted lists and formatting and add images and split everything into bite-sized chunks, so that people, instead of just using like huge text blocks, so that people can just kind of flow through the page and get to the end of the page and not just click on your ad, see the page and see it's like a huge wall of text and just bounce off. Okay, step 3 is conversion focused design. So an pretty funnel is not going to make you more money necessarily. You can have an ugly funnel that's converting well, but what that's going to do, if you have a strong funnel and it doesn't look like a scam website, it looks like an actual reputable brand that's not going to run away with your credit card information. It's going to build trust, and it just acts as social proof. And it's, if it is visually appealing, you want to stay on the website and you want to trust the brand more. So when it comes to user experience, you got to focus on user flow and lessening friction. Basically, you got to ask yourself, is the path from hero to checkout completely frictionless? A hero section is basically this is the first thing that you see when you land on the page. So top to bottom, is it frictionless? Are there any snags that might stop you from going through the funnel? Does the eye naturally follow the intended narrative? There's visual hierarchy. Does every design element serve a conversion goal, or do you have like random videos put in there just because you thought it would look good, or are they actually contributing anything to people converting on your website? Where are the visual distractions that bleed conversions? You gotta cut that immediately. Then there's strategic assets. So are the most important elements getting the most attention, is the design enhancing the copy or just degrading it? That's what I talked about in my last point. Does it help you consume the information that leads to making the sale, or is it there just because people put images on the website? And here are some examples of what not to do. This was one of our clients. This is the first screen that you land on, and they just had a video running here, and it's cropped really badly because this is mobile view, and like almost 90%, usually in most cases, of your traffic comes through mobile devices. And this was, you just click on the ad and you see some kind of weird cropped video, and they were converting really poorly. Where instead an optimized solution would be a hero image at the top, a headline, a subheading, a call to action, social proof, trusted by 10,000 happy golfers, and reviews underneath that. Another example is for a skincare brand where they had, it was like really busy, where you have 3 different banners up top. Here you have like 7 call to action buttons on a single screen, and you accidentally, click on what you're not intended on clicking, and it's a mess. And so clean and optimized hero would look like this, where you just have the social proof, you have the heading, you've highlighted the benefits, instead of having a large chunk of text, a wall of text, you split it up into bulleted points. You have a big bold call to action that leads you to further down the funnel, and even more social proof here. And obviously the image is also a different element. It's not this background where things are overlapping it. You just give it space, and it just looks that more professional and clean, and it's also optimized for your user experience. Number 4, optimized imagery. This is one that most brands miss out on, and here's how to nail it right. So first is image storytelling. Basically, you got to ask yourself, is the image answering a specific objection, or is it just showing the product? And what I mean by that is, another one of our clients, They're selling, this is a bench press accessory. So people use this if they want to have healthier shoulders and bench press more. And so they just had, like, no joke, like 30 images of their product from different angles in their image gallery. And it, like, you don't know what this is, because there's no product like it on the market, and you just go on the page and it's just this piece of plastic on a bench, and like, this doesn't help me understand anything at all. This, if you're selling like clothing and something, or like furniture, of course, have 30 different images of your product from different angles. But if it's something that you can do and write a direct funnel about, then just optimize your images, man. And for example, this is what we did. These images can be ran basically as static ads, and this is really what they are. So one is about the setup, one is calling out their ICP, one is mentioning the benefits and having all these trust seals. And there's also more down here. This, what we can have is one benefits, one comparing yourself to your competition, noting what's included, adding social proof in the product images, and adding risk reversals, and just really utilizing this space, because the human eye consumes images 60 times faster than it does text. So you better leverage that fact. So visual path: does the first image grab attention with a clear, unique selling proposition? And does the final image remove risk and drive action? So basically, my strategy for making these is just take the landing page and break down each section to be one image creative. And so basically you have a mini landing page right in the image gallery, and you just flip through it. And once you reach the end, it's the same framework, the same process you get sold to. And the last one is usually like a risk reversal is very effective, because once you've gone through the mini funnel in the images, you go and add the product to your cart. For asset effectiveness, again, what I touched upon, your images shouldn't just be decoration. They should convert your visitors, and they should communicate value, build trust, and drive towards a sale, not just be there to look pretty. And all right, number 5, development. One thing that's crucial for conversions is page speed. So you got to make sure that your page loads in under 1 second. If it takes you more than 3 seconds to get on the page, if your page loads for 3 seconds, like 40% of your customers drop off. If it's 4 seconds, it's like 80%. And if it's 5 or more, it just don't bother. So we got to cut down on the size of the images. You got to cut down on the video quality. The size of the video and the aspect ratios, and make sure you just have the elements that need to be there. I would not use just random page builders. I swear by Replo, or by using just custom coding everything into Shopify, using apps, and using as little apps as possible. Don't have any like filler apps. So just make sure that everything is working as fast as possible and everything is integrated clearly. And again, you want to just test and see if the whole integration of the whole page is working correctly. You got to make sure that a page works on every device, on every browser. Sometimes you can miss it. If the page works fine on Google Chrome, it might not work on Firefox. Some certain elements just break for some reason. And number 3 is one of the most important, is mobile optimization. And it is 2026, and there are brands who don't have optimized landing pages for mobile. That's just crazy, because one 100%, at least 70% of your customers are on mobile. The majority of your traffic is on mobile, and so we got to tailor the whole experience to them. Make sure that you fully utilize the vertical space, because you have less than you do on desktop. You got to make sure that all the elements scale correctly. Again, this is an example of an unoptimized mobile page where you have huge logos that don't, do anything. You have all of this wasted space, like 50% of the page is taken up by dead space, and it's just not, it doesn't look right. It looks fine on desktop, but here's how, you just optimize it by cutting down on the wasted space, by having everything on a single line, by just using, elements that are tailored to mobile, having an image gallery up top instead of being like you got to scroll down to see it, because these weird icons are taking up this space. You have, variant selector, a call to action, bullet points. Again, it's very clean. It follows a clear visual aesthetic, a visual hierarchy where you go down the page. It incentivizes you to go through the funnel. And finally, once you've launched your page, it's not over. If you want to win, you got to test your angles. So what you got to do is take a look at these psychological approaches, figure out which 6 distinct angles are we testing. So for example, scarcity versus social proof angle. I have another video on that as well on my channel. Got to check that out. See that are all variants receiving identical traffic for a test. For example, if you take one angle and you drive 50,000 visitors to it, and take another and run like 1,000 people to it, and I guess who's going to convert better, or which variant is going to get the fair treatment, the fair amount of traffic. Well, you gotta A/B test for a long enough period of time to make sure the test is statistically significant. Then there's traffic and budget control. So got to figure out which messaging angle is the clear winner when it comes to conversion rate, or AOV, for example, whatever metric you're testing for. You got to figure out how does each angle address a different customer segment. Data-driven scaling. How do we ensure that the collected data is statistically significant? This means that you got to ensure that the test wasn't a fluke. It wasn't influenced by things like, launching an angle test during Black Friday, for example, or Cyber Monday. Your data is going to be all out of whack. You got to ensure these things. You got to ensure, the first point, that you're getting enough traffic first and foremost. And then how do we double down on the winning angle for maximum return on investment? Just find what works and chat ram volume to it and really make it grow. So here's another example. This is what a lot of brands do. They just take a bunch of ads and different ad angles and they run it to the same page. So either the homepage or product page usually. And your ads talk about one thing where the homepage or the product page is completely irrelevant. It talks about something else. And the winning brands, they take, if you have 4 ad angles, you run it to 4 different landing pages. These are, you can test different landing page types. You can test different landing page angles when it comes to copywriting. An example here is this is just for one landing page, but you have 3 different angles, for example, and these talk about different things, and so you just switch out the angle, the first hero section, and don't change anything else. Then you have 3 different landing pages out of a single build, and then you can combine it with testing multiple offers, and so you test 3 angles with 3 offers. So instead of having a 1 out of 1 chance to get a winning landing page, you get 1 out of 9. You get 9 shots to get a winner. And so thank you for watching. If you found this useful, drop a like, comment down below if you have any questions. If you want to work with my agency, Conversion Spartan, you can book a call down in the description below. Thank you.